Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Dr. Joey interviews Christian business professionals just like you to discover their secrets for working faith positive in a negative world. Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett.
Faith Positive Nation, you know how when you walk into a place, there's one chance to make a first impression, right? This smiling face is what greeted me when I walked into Cornerstone Coworking in Lawrenceville, Georgia, not so long ago. And I was down there with Perry Rue, who is our Get Positive regional leader for Faith Positive Nation in the hot Atlanta area. So I walked in and this beautiful, brilliant person greeted me and I went, wow, I am so glad to be here, because she just exuded this spiritual warmth that invited me in and just made me so glad I was at Cornerstone Coworking. As the day went on, I actually got to sit in not one, but two meetings with her, and it was absolutely phenomenal because she has a spiritual insight and a discernment and was able to say what it took me 1,000 words to say. She said it in like 10 words or something, okay? And just has this amazing spiritual insight and ability. And after the second meeting, I got to meet her little baby, well, who's what, a year old or something, and toddling around. So it was an exceptional day for me when I walked into Cornerstone Coworking in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and got to meet Charity Estes. Faith Positive Nation, help me welcome Charity Estes to Faith Positive Radio. Charity, welcome. We're delighted to have you here with us.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. It's an honor.
Yes. Now, where's the baby? I don't see the baby.
Oh, she just left. She will, come back anytime you need her.
I do. Well, I'm a pops in training. I have no grandchildren yet, so I need to play with babies.
Absolutely.
I'm the guy. I'm the only guy that will sit beside the baby on airplanes. If there's an aisle seat beside a baby, I'm the only one that takes it because I want to play with the baby, right? Charity, tell me all about what it is that makes the collaborative workspace there at Cornerstone Coworking special.
Yeah. So we like to separate Cornerstone Coworking from any other coworking facility just because we try to provide something beyond a space or a facility. So as you said, the collaborative environment, we really like to encourage that between our members. If we have members that have the same interests or needs, or if someone provides a need that someone else has, we love to connect them and introduce them and really use the space for what it's meant for. So beyond what other coworking spaces may need, it's more than just a facility. It's an actual community that we like to provide for everyone.
There's a keyword, community, because I'm staying here thinking about relationships, and that's what you created. Cornerstone Coworking is so different because I've been in lots of coworking spaces, and it's like, okay, that's your space over there, or here's an open space where you can hang out. But in terms of the relationships, it's up to you to create them yourself. So what I hear you saying is that you intentionally create relationships there for a community.
Absolutely. Yes. That's our favorite part, is to watch members become actual friends and partners beyond what they were before. So
wow. So how do you guys create the community?
Yeah. So we try to provide networking events for everyone. At least once a month, we try to bring everybody into the same room, where if you have a new member that joined recently that you haven't met before, that gives you a perfect time to introduce yourselves and learn about them. And beyond that, we know all of our members by name, as well as what they do and what they love. And so when someone comes in and says, hey, I'm looking for someone that does this, we can say, oh, well, let me direct you to this person. They would love to work with you. So by us knowing our members and sharing their passion with them, then we can help connect each other. So we try to do it organically and also by fitting them all together so they can share themselves.
Oh, wow. So that means two things are going on, right? You're getting to know the members there and their members because it's a community, right? So you've got this collaborative co-working going on. So you know your members. And then secondly, you introduce them to each other. I like the idea of the monthly networking thing. Of course, networking is so important to me anyway. Dr. Ivan Meisner helped me learn from BNI, helped me learn the true meaning of networking and how that works best. But I love the community aspect. So how does your faith really influence this community building aspect?
Yeah, so I just know how I got to Cornerstone was because of the community that I was a part of at Chick-fil-A. So I got a job at 19 years old, and it was because of a double date that I went on, and the girl... Hang on.
You went on a double date and you got a job. Did you get a husband
Yes.
out of the double date too?
He was at the double date. He was the one that introduced us.
Oh, wow. You got a husband and a job in one double date? Holy
Exactly.
man.
We're done that.
You're a productivity guru, aren't you?
Gotta use your time wisely, you
That's
know?
what I got a job and a husband. That's incredible. Okay, go ahead. You're on a double date.
Yes. So the girl that I got to introduce myself to, she got me the application, got me a job at Chick-fil-A. I was there for about 3 or 4 years and joined the
Wow.
marketing team, which is where I learned the degree that I wanted because I was very excited and passionate about it.
Hmm.
And from the marketing team, the person that led me actually is the person that gave me my internship at the Pregnancy Resource Center in Gwinnett.
That's
So I
sweet.
learned a lot from her. And then she reintroduced me to the person that I met from the first job and said, oh, I hear you're looking for someone. Charity will be graduating soon, and I know she's looking for a full-time job. So that all of that community just cycled around from Chick-fil-A and brought me into Cornerstone, which is how I know the actual value that it really has. And it's just God has been orchestrating something for 7 years to get me to where I am today. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
very passionate about it because I know that God has a plan for each person in this building, and we're all the tools that are going to get them to the next step.
Wow. Wow. That's your personal track record with God that increases your faith, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, God was showing off with you on a single double date, right?
Yes, he's shown off. He has plenty to show off about.
He really does. Man, that's amazing. Of course, we're huge Chick-fil-A fans here in Faith Positive Nation. So glad to know your tracks ran through the Kathy family thing there too. That's really cool. So Cornerstone, you didn't name it, but you're the brand director. So how do you interpret Cornerstone to the world, especially to a world that may not know? You know, we Christians might speak that inside language of, oh, Cornerstone, we got
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world does not. So how do you interpret that as the brand director, Cornerstone, to the rest of the world?
Exactly. Yeah. So our building is called Cornerstone, so it actually expands to anyone around us as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of expanding that community. But I think that we are trying to be the building block, and we're trying to be what turns our businesses and communities to be passionate about what they do and with Christ as the center of it. So we want that to be the building block, and we try to encourage that in every way by introducing it to them and being upfront about the kind of company that we are and encouraging that within them as well.
Right. Be upfront about the kind of company we are and encouraging that in them as well. What does that look like when you say you're upfront about it? I mean, let's say I come in and I'm a pre-believer. That's the way I like to think of it. I have yet to really enter into a relationship with Christ, and yet I'm made in the image and likeness of God, right? So I'm a child of God, but I've yet to enter into that relationship, the more intimate relationship with Christ. And I say to you, well, Charity, what is it about Cornerstone? How'd you guys come up with that name? What would you tell me?
Yeah. So I would say we are a faith-based company. We actually have our huddles every Wednesday morning, and we have a Bible study, and all of our members are welcome to join us. And we really try to encourage that for them to come join us and be a part of that and see us in a transparent environment where we are all growing together for the glory of God. And so we are upfront, and you'll see when you sign into our Wi-Fi, you use Proverbs 11:25. And then everybody says, oh, what does that mean? And then you get to tell them about it. So it's a perfect window and door to get in and kind of tell them what we stand on and show them who we are.
So for those of us in Faith Positive Nation who don't have Proverbs 11:25 on the tip of our tongue, what is that verse?
Yes. So it is basically, I will not quote it word for word, but
Okay.
Everybody who sows into others will prosper, and he who refreshes others will be refreshed.
So when I refresh others, I'll be refreshed. Wow.
Which is exactly what our community is here. So
Well, that's what I'm thinking. If it's a collaborative workspace, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So do you attract a lot of Christian business professionals to Cornerstone, or do you attract all kinds of people from all kinds of walks?
We attract everyone. So
Okay.
but what is so great is that we do welcome that so much that we have had many numbers of people that are faith-based that will come in and work, especially for the community. A lot of nonprofits that we love to partner with and support. And so you'll find a large number of members here that are faith-based, but also what's so great is since we do impact everyone, that gives them a great great introduction to what they do and how they can spread the word.
Okay, so really you're creating a space where Christians are attracted, but other people are too. So you're bringing the world to Christ right there in Cornerstone
Yeah.
Coworking. Yeah. How
Awesome.
cool is that? Was this your idea or whose idea is it?
I wish it was my idea, but we are just following some great leaders.
Who are some of those great leaders you're following?
Burke Allen, and him and
Okay.
his wife are the main owners, and then Jay Hassel as well. And they have really just been great guidance for us, and they've been an awesome team where they've given us a lot of trust to move forward and to open this space the way that we see fit. But they have also provided great training and leadership and to really get us to where we think is best for Cornerstone.
Yeah, Faith Positive Nation, if that name Jay Hassel rings bell, it's because he sat in Cornerstone and I interviewed him. He had different artwork behind him though.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little variety.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So now we have yet to interview Burke. So we look forward to doing that one day soon as well. So then we'll have the whole brain trust of Cornerstone Coworking here on Faith Positive Radio, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's so cool. So as the brand director, what are your responsibilities? I mean, what does your typical work day look like?
Yeah, so it actually depends on the day that you want to ask me that question.
Okay, I ask you today. What's today look like?
It's anything from making coffee and keeping everyone focused in their rooms, but also to keep everyone organized to make sure they know where they're going at the right time and to answer any questions they have. But also we cover all bases, so we wear many hats. So anything from promoting and getting our name out there. So if we are trying to apply for awards or market in any way, we really focus on that a lot, trying to add value to our memberships with the networking events that we're planning constantly, or just anything that is going to get our name out there and really add value to our members in the sense of giving them exactly what they need and looking for. So hopefully that entails with answering their questions, or if they give us feedback, it's something that we're trying to add to.
Okay, so it's inbound and outbound marketing.
Absolutely.
Right? And then it sounds like you're in charge of what I would call community cohesion. You keep the community knit together, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
I love that name. That's great.
Well, the whole body's knit together, I guess would be another way of thinking about it. So you knit one pearl too, right? So what kind of challenges do you face as a co-working space as Cornerstone?
So I think for Lawrenceville, as a co-working space, a lot of people in this area do not really know what co-working is.
Well, I was just standing here thinking about there may be somebody in Faith Positive Nation who's not familiar with the whole notion of co-working since it's relatively new, that is within the last 5 years.
Yes.
So well, for most of the country, why don't you tell us a little bit about what a co-working space is?
Right. So a co-working space is a collaborative environment. We provide rooms and training rooms and large spaces. So if people want to host corporate events, they can bring in their team and train them in a large room. If you wanted to have a breakout sessions, we have that available. So we offer anything from a conference room for a conference call or a presentation for your client, as well as an event space. So we've done anything from sweet 16s to wedding receptions and to large corporate parties as well. So
Okay.
we really try to wear all hats in the events and facility world. But for co-working especially is we are providing that space for them to give them a better environment when they bring their clients in there, rather than talking at a coffee shop or being on a conference call with a dog barking in the background. So.
Yeah. So most of these people are solopreneurs then?
Yes. Most of them are solo,
Okay.
but we also have a few that work for larger companies that work remotely, and they just are kind of getting a little stir crazy at home. So bring somebody else.
That's right. So to join the community, I pay a relatively small monthly fee.
Exactly.
Right. And so I'm joining the community by doing that. And then I get the kind of space I want. So it's a staggered fee around however many square feet I want or the kind of space I want.
Yeah, it's around the amount of access. So we have some people that just would like to stay in our common space, and then we have some people that want 24/7 access, and we have that as an option. So they come in and they can use their space completely as their own and come in and out at 2 a.m. if they'd like. So.
Okay, so I can cop squat at a table in a common area, or I can have a designated office, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Wow, I love that. And then certain levels of membership include the whole thing then too, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So, and I asked you about challenges. You said one of the challenges is helping people in Lawrenceville understand what co-working space really is. What are some
Yes.
ways you do that and get the word out in the community?
Yeah, so we try to do a lot through social media marketing, but we also do a lot of kind of blitzing. So we will just go out into the community and introduce ourselves and see what the need is. But I think what's so great about Cornerstone is that a lot of our marketing has been just word of mouth, where people have found a new space or they've hosted a meeting or an event and somebody else has came to see it and they're like, wow, I didn't know this was here. And that is the best introduction of all, is when they can come see the space, because it mostly speaks for itself once you walk through our facility.
Oh, it did to me. Of course, the coffee is front and center, and that won my heart right away.
Strategic placing.
That's right. It is strategically placed, so we can keep going, right?
Yes,
And that's essential to co-working space, I think.
it is.
But I've got to tell you, I really, even if I was not a believer, I really experienced the joy of the Lord when I walked in, and it was because of you. How do you, because so many different people walk through that door, what are you thinking as these people walk through the door, or what are you telling yourself or
Yeah.
praying as these people
Um,
walk through the door?
I start with thinking, hopefully there's a need that we can meet.
Okay.
But kind of just as far as running a co-working space or just in life in general, I believe everybody has a story. So I'm very curious as to what everyone's story is and what are you doing and what brings you here, and how can we help be a part of your story and watch that grow from maybe a solo business and a new startup to something that is way bigger than Cornerstone, and how
Hmm.
can we be a part of that? So my first thing is I wonder what their story is and how can we help with that?
Wow, that's a real servant leader attitude that you have there, because you want to know them, you want to discover what their hopes and wishes and dreams are, and then discover a way that Cornerstone can help meet those needs, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so many places you walk in, and it's like you disturb someone when you walk in, and
Yes.
it's all about them. Well, here's the way we do it, that kind of thing. But you really turn that on your ear. What kind of faith language do you speak to yourself about this person walking through the door? Because I sensed, again, the joy of the Lord, but a real openness of spirit for you there as well. That doesn't just happen. You don't wake up in the morning that way. That's something that you deliberately pursue. How do you do that?
Yeah, I just kind of talk myself through, well, I mean, I know that there's a 100%, there's a purpose of why I'm here.
Mm,
So I think that it is just my role and that God has me here to meet someone that I can impact. So I tell myself, who is it going to be today? Who can we try to make smile or give a hug to, or really just impact and show them that God is in this place and that we are here.
mm. So you're being Christ to them as they walk through that door, right?
Yes.
And showing the love of God. That's beautiful. Well, that's certainly what I experienced when I walked through the door, and it was tangible. I mean, I'm a trained observer because I walk into lots of businesses and I coach and consult with a lot of businesses, but it was very, very obvious to me. Now, how do you, because I know there's some challenges, right? We're going to get to some more of those in just a second. How do you, in your own faith journey, keep that attitude?
Yeah. So kind of one of my biggest challenges for just being a working mom is leaving Copeland. So leaving my daughter is it's a struggle every morning. It doesn't get easier when you drop her off. And
No.
even if she waves her hands and is fine with staying with whoever she's with, it's definitely a challenge to be away from her for a large percentage of the day for multiple hours. So for me, I tell myself with everything that God has orchestrated that I owe it to him to
Mm,
really give back, to say, you've given me this job, you've given me something that I love and that I'm passionate about and that I can't see my life without.
mm,
So it's really it's my job and my role to give it back to him and say, like, I'm going to use this for his glory.
mm. So does God ever remind you of the double date in which he gave you a husband and
Yes,
a
all
job?
the time. The second I got the call of being hired here, I was just in absolute awe that all of this orchestrated.
God, you did it again.
Yes.
Yeah. So people being people, you know how we are. Um, there've got to be some difficult personalities that occasionally come into Cornerstone.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. So what kind of challenges do those people present to you?
A lot of it is just maybe seeing the value in a space since it isn't a direct trade, maybe not a chicken sandwich for $3. They
Mm-hmm.
don't see that they're walking away with as much. So the challenge is really to show them exactly what the space can provide beyond renting a room for a few hours or having access to a few whiteboards or some coffee. Um,
Good
so
coffee.
yes. So the challenge is definitely um, to have them really be aware of what they're getting at Cornerstone and to really value that the way that we try to provide the value.
Okay, so helping them understand the value that's there. Let's say there's a member of the community who just can't be pleased. I'm assuming there's at least one person like that there. Yeah.
Yes, we could say that.
Okay. All right. All right. Either that or you created heaven on earth there and I'm moving there immediately. No, I'd mess it up for everybody. No. So how do you deal with those people in a redemptive way that
Yeah.
redeems the situation as well as the person involved?
So a way that we like to really angle it is that we are maybe if they're having an issue with something, a lot of it is they maybe want some special treatment or special access to something that we can't provide or something for free. It may be, we approach it as to keep it fair to all of our members. Um, we have to stick to the roles and what you get for your money. We definitely have to make sure that it's fair for everyone so that if this person comes up and knows what's happening, that we can feel good about what we're offering everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just keeping a strict guideline on what we follow and when we follow it is crucial, that everyone is on the same page as a team.
Yeah. Yeah. So consistency in the
Absolutely.
relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. Rather than playing favorites, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That gets you in trouble, right? Just, yeah. Witness Jacob and Esau, right? And there's a whole laundry list of biblical characters like that. And God can still work in those situations. It just takes another generation to make it happen, right?
Exactly.
Right, right. So the challenges that you face, you really, to me, it seems that you really are proactive in your response and you've thought through, prayed about your response to most of these challenges. If you had to name one thing that's really unique about the collaborative community there at Cornerstone Coworking, what would you say it is? Just one thing. What would you say?
I would say our culture.
Okay, tell me why culture.
Yeah, just for the environment of being an employee at Cornerstone,
Sure.
I know that we have a culture that is very laid back and relaxed, so it can give you the freedom to do whatever you need to in Cornerstone and to whatever your company is. We're very open to that, and we, as just for the culture, we are happy to help, and we just provide the comfort. And I just know that walking into this space versus any other job that I've ever had, I get excited to come here every day. After we leave the baby, it is something that I love to be at, and the time flies, and
Oh, good.
flies so quickly. And we want the same thing to happen for our members, for them to
Mm-hmm.
love what they're doing so much that when they come into the space, that it is just home, and they are just happy to be where they are.
So what is it about your spiritual DNA, that is your divine design and your calling from God, that suits you for brand director of Cornerstone Coworking so well?
Thank you. I think it's just a lot of training. I think I have
Okay.
just the different parts of life that I've experienced and the different places that I've been. It's just something that it's a passion that you don't just learn.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
God put this in your spirit then, this
Absolutely.
passion. Mm-hmm.
This is home. This is something that I will,
Mm.
no matter wherever else I go, I don't think I'll ever feel this way about a job the way I do. So.
Wow. Wow. Home is a packed word. That's
And I mean it. So it's definitely, I think that's the culture that is provided for me, to feel very at home and comfortable, and give me a great environment to learn in and to grow in. As I started here immediately after college. So there was a lot of learning and experience that needed to happen. And they have, we've worked very well together and grown a lot together. And so it's been a wonderful experience. And I think that was just God opening the doors and showing me a few previous jobs that I didn't love near as much that really helped me to value and appreciate this the way I do.
Yeah, so you can look back and see that this is the fulfillment of God's perfect will for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I would hazard a guess that one of your spiritual gifts is hospitality. I'm just hazarding that guess. And another would be creative communication, because I certainly have experienced both of those from you in very powerful ways. And so obviously you're a great student of Scripture.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can tell, because you're just informed by the Word. It just seems to come out whether in person or here on this interview. Faith Positive Nation always wants to know, Charity, about a favorite Bible verse. You hear I said a favorite Bible verse. Right.
I'll narrow it down to one.
I know, it's hard, isn't it?
That I think of really applies to me right now is Jeremiah 29:11. I think just, for I know the plans I have for you, to prosper you and not harm you, and plans to give you home and a future of hope. I think that is exactly what God has played out in my life in the past few years, and I am completely in awe. And this is just a part of my story where, if you would have asked me in the beginning, it wouldn't have been so exciting to be in maybe a job that I was not very excited about. So I think that just the comfort that God is holding on to us, and that He started orchestrating your plan 7 years ago, is just something that I cannot ignore. And I think that is exactly where He has had His hands in my life in the past few years. So
you can look
close to my heart.
Yes, and you look back just a couple of years, and of course Copeland was born within those 2 years, and you can just really see God's handiwork alive in you. Absolutely. And wow, and that just blows my mind to hear you talking about that, because when you consider over 7 billion people on the face of the planet, and God cares for each one of us so dearly, down to the last detail, to take you on a double date and get a husband and a job.
Yes.
So He really created 2 homes for you in that double date, didn't He? A home with Copeland's daddy, and then a home there to work for. Wow. Well, Faith Positive Nation, if you're ever in the Atlanta area, it's worth a trip just north of town to go to Lawrenceville and to find Cornerstone Coworking. And there you'll be greeted by the brand director, Charity Estes, and you will experience the joy of the Lord through her, just like I did. Charity, thank you for the gift of your time. Please tell Jay hello for me. Tell Burke I look forward to interviewing him very, very soon as well. And give our dear friend Perry Rue a big hug next time he's there, because I know the 2 of you are a part of Faith Positive Nation right there in Atlanta. So grateful for that. May God bless you, your family, your work, and all that you do and set your hands to, Charity. We just thank you for your gift of your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks for listening to Faith Positive Radio, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work, so you love God and others more. Suggest guests and ask questions when you email Dr. Joey at info@getpositive.today. And be sure to get your free gift of the 5 positive business conversations to have today coaching program at getpositive.today. Until next time, may God bless you with everything your heart can hope for and more than your mind can imagine.